Hi there, it's Steph. Thanks for popping by. Today I'm sharing with you a card I made using a Paper Smooches stamp set called Get Out of Town. And I did what someone called recently some no-line watercoloring, and that's about right. So I used some distress ink to stamp, and I prepared some masks beforehand. I did practice this card. I will tell you why in a minute. I used my little mask to cover the suitcases and the cocktail glass, and I stamped all the flowers all around it, and it was ready to go for coloring. So I started by doing the background. I basically practiced this card, honestly, more than I want to admit. I've had so many little problems with it, but just enough that the outcome was just not what I wanted. And the reason for that is that I originally stamped with some Altenew crisp ink, which I really like, and I automatically use these inks. And normally it's great, I have no problem. And for some reason here, I don't know if it's because of the blue background, um, the distress ink would somehow bleed into the line I had stamped with the Altenew crisp ink. And it would bleed pretty bad. It would be like really obvious and not look nice at all. And after several tries with the crisp ink, I just came to conclusion that it was just not right. So I used some anti-clean and distress ink, and the outcome was much better. So something for you to maybe bear in mind. I also wanted to add some shading between the flowers for the background, and for some reason it didn't quite work out as well as I expected. I wanted to create some depth, and it just wasn't there. So you will see me trying to get that depth, and I just can't get what I wanted, not a nice result at least. So I just decided to take a piece of kitchen roll and just dab off all the excess color. And then I just splattered little drops of water, and I waited a little bit longer than you can actually see on the video, because I just tried to keep things moving, but I was much happier with the little droplets of water. So just something that I've experienced and I wanted to share with you. So then I continued with the coloring. I used broken china for the background. Then I believe it was gathered twig or stained walnut, I have a doubt, for the suitcases. And I just tried to start with a very watered paint, so it's very light, and then I just add layers and layers until I get the shading I want. I used pumice stone for the handle and the little knobs on the suitcases, and I do the same thing there to create a bit of depth. I did a little stain here, and I used a little bit of water just to lift off the color, and it's not perfect, but it works pretty well. So that's a hint for today or trick, tip maybe, yeah. So then I started coloring the flowers, and I used some mustard seeds, which is this very bright yellow. I mean, you could use squeezed lemonade, I suppose, but I do like mustard seed for that because it's very bright and it's very vibrant, and I really like that. And I'm basically gonna build up the layers for quite a while. So I will then add toward the center of the flower, I will use some spice marmalade here, as you can see, and then I will keep on going and add more spice marmalade, and eventually moved on to ripe persimmon. And I think at the end I did a little bit of festive berry to really create that depth and rich center, the color of the flower, the center of the flower, sorry, to make it really rich. And I will use a mix of ripe persimmon and festive berry just to trace the outline around the flower, and you will see that in a minute. There's a bit of watercoloring to observe, so I will just put a little bit of musical background for you, and I will see you at the end for the last part of the card making. Talk to you in a moment. So here I'm approaching the end of the watercoloring, and as you can see, really worth taking the time to add the layers to create that depth in the middle of the card. And I know I said it was no line watercoloring, but I did think that the flowers needed a little outline. So then I used my embossing body tool to remove the statics on my card, stamped my greeting with some Versamark ink, added a bit of embossing powder and used my heat gun to melt that embossing powder. I had the right size for the card, so then I just needed to add a bit of glue and place it on my card. And it's very simple, but it's very colorful, and I'm still in that summery mood, as you can see. And I really love that stamp set. I did add a bit of Wink of Stella. Need to be light-handed on that one because the water lifts off the distress ink, but the glitter works really well, and then a little bit of glossy accent. So here are the photos for today, and if you want to see closer photos, please head over to my blog. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. Bye!